what is generative AI and what things you are going to learn here. Let me first quickly explain you how generative AI is different compared to our machine learning, or I will say the no the data science part. Okay, so data science part. So generative AI, I mean, little bit of introduction. And see, generally data science evolved much earlier compared to generative AI. So when you see the evolution, so data science, if I you might have seen this diagram, this have AI and this NLP. This NLP module of data science help you to develop this GenAI part, okay, in within this NLP module, okay. And what happened, that data science mostly, you have multiple domains. You have the machine learning part, then deep learning part, you have the NLP part, and then computer vision part and stuff like that. Okay, this was evolving, I mean, much more evolved, and it was there from 1960s and stuff like that. Okay, now these two more dealt with the structured, structured data, fixed input and stuff, while NLP was the stuff where it is more of a textual data, processing textual data and unstructured sort of a thing. With this dealing with this in, basically from 2008 to 2014 on, till here, the processing of these NLPs through embeddings. Okay, I mean, we will understand this embedding as of now in a very simple term. Machine does not understand text. You need to convert them into vectors. So these vectors are nothing but a list of numbers, say 0.1, blah, 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 some numbers. This number is demarcated, is just a representation of any word. Okay, so these embeddings, okay, uh, these 2008 and onwards, and then these vectors are being passed into my either my NLP systems, or nowadays it will pass into my GenAI application. So these, during this period, you will have from 2008 to 14, you have those, the world of RNNs, and people, I know I have a lot of jargons I'm saying, don't worry. These are all deep learning stuff. LSTMs and RNNs were there. Okay, but the main transition came around 2017 to 2020-21. Okay, where different architectures like, encoder decoder architecture, we will understand this in our sessions. Okay, this is important on terms of architecture, encoder decoder attention model. These are the evolution it happened, and then came an important called transformers, and we will understand this transformers, because this transformer is the building block of our journey to LLM. So any large language model, so generative AI, any large language model, this transformer became the building block and the state of art architecture, and it happened during 2018. And then obviously you all know 2020, 2021, in that period, when chat GPT came into the picture, obviously it revolutionized. People could see the potential of generative AI. And why, what is generative AI and how it is different from this predictive thing. So because data science, machine learning, deep learning, NLP processing, they were here, they were provided to predict something like, you know, I have historical data, learn from my historical data. Then for a new data, similar type of data, please predict. That is what it was, designed for. While generative AI, initially in this 2020 and 2021, it was more of a give text as an input, generate text as an output. Okay, it was more of an text to text, right? Obviously, in between, and as I said, machine does not understand text. So what happens? Technically, text converted to some vectors or embeddings, vectors going into this LLM model doing some processing, and then it again convert back to response. It is generated by vectors, and then it is decoded back into text. So this is what the the process cycle of a simple generative AI. So, as I said, 2020s, this was the period when research was at its peak and it was released. They called this as Gen AI. So what was they expect that users, front-end user was giving some query. This query, or we call them fancy name called prompt. Okay. You might have heard this term prompt engineers is on high demand. So this prompt engineering stuff also we will see. This query are nothing but text, right? Now the text, because the machine does not understand text, has to be converted into vectors, or we call them as embeddings. What is vectors? Something in a list of numbers, each word represented in the form of a list of some floating numbers. That text, it has been converted, and now the text goes into some models, pre-built large language model. Why we call them large language? Because they are trained on internet of data. So there's large language and there's some models, and these models building block is transformers. That means the architecture of the model are transformers. They are trained on huge amount of data. That's why internet of data, that's why we call as large language model. Now when this vector is coming, obviously your query, some questions you're asking, this model is which is already trained on multiple huge data. They have all the answers. It's just like an encyclopedia. It has all the answers. So what it is doing, these vectors, it is going and checking for the answers present inside the model, and it is like in a vector space. Okay, it is not like text. I'm asking a question, you from your knowledge you're giving answer. There's no text is there, no string. It's all vectors. Ask querying that vectors, it is there, and that vector similarity search, this that is, it is happening. So inside it happens in a vector space in a very high level. What happens, they understand the context of the question, and understanding the context, it tried out the vector similarity, because this vector and this learning which is there, this is also in a form of embeddings or vectors it is present. So they understand this vector similarity. When it understands this vector similarity, the similar closer vectors, it also gives response in the form of vectors. But since as human we will not understand vectors, if I speak something that words are converted into vectors, I will not be able to understand. That vectors will be decoded back into form of text, and this entire thing. So this part is part of your application. This part, it is done by inside the LLM architecture, it is done. And again, this part is part of the same application, which is decoding and giving you the front end response. That's why when I ask any question to chat GPT, at the back end, much more is a very high level, but much more, chat GPT actually now has become more of an agentic AI sort of a thing. It has become much so many things is happening at within that fraction of few seconds, and it is giving you the response back. So this was the initial thought process when 2020 came, where generative AI, they said, no, this is what how we should use it, and then it really helped in all tasks. Now see, if I have something now, more than that, see, now people stopped using Google and more of chat GPT, because chat GPT does the same thing in a much better way. So now what has happened, that people have started understanding, okay, now if I give any question, it is like a encyclopedia, and it is able to has the capability to do all the tasks for you, all the in which format you want, everything it is understanding, right? The prompt is the main thing, which is you want to give a response in a different way, it will give you the response. So that that is where this initially it was a plain LLM model where text to text content generation was the objective, right? Content generation of the objective. Then evolution happened. They started creating chat model. It was like a conversation. They were trained on a specialized data where human conversational data it was they were trained on. So from from context generation model, that's a plain model, it became a chat model. Okay. And then from the chat model, now it has evolved and become agentic model. We call them also as agentic AI. So this, it started with this. Only objective was content generation, summarization, okay, language translation. This was the objective it was being. Then it became a chat model. Now it has all evolved. Now, example, you might have seen GPT-3, GPT-2. They are all LLM model. They are specialized to just, you give an thing, it will generate content. While chat model now, it has evolved. 3.5 turbo, GPT-4, GPT-4o. These are all chat model. They are not only specialized with conversational data, they also have a memory component that they remember what chat you have done 2 days back. Just like in chat GPT, you can see that they create a folder partitioning. Also, they have all the qualities of the LLM model. So if I use a chat model, I do not have to use this LLM model. Okay. Chat model has this capacity, and also it's like a upgraded version of this model. That's why you see the versioning, it is improving from 2, 3, 3.5, 4, 4.0, like this. And then now, if you see this agentic AI, which is nothing but agents, they researchers are telling we can build, which is nothing but tool plus LLM model. So we will take, or rather tool plus chat model. So we will have the chat model. We will create some tools which has the capacity to autonomously take actions, which a chat model does not. Chat model has the capacity to think. They can think, they can do reasoning, they can generate output, but take action. For example, if I create an application and ask to book the ticket for my vacation planning, it will not be able to do that until unless you have created some application which has these tools. You have that tools have integration to this third party, APIs and all websites where it will go and create. So if you see, this is how the evolution has happened. So from NLP space, the research was stagnant from 2008 to 2014. Then from 14 to 17, research boomed up. Then 17 to 2021, and going forward now, you can see now the world of generative AI has evolved, and we are here to learn this entire generative AI, not only conceptually, but also practically. You will be learning. If I now come to the curriculum, okay. So what we will do, obviously, we will have your software installation and laptop setup. That will be your initial build up, so that we have all the required infras. We will learn this encoder, decoder architecture, attention model architectures, transformer architecture. This is what your, say, initial 10 to 15 days, okay, your will go on this concept learning, and this is your most important part of your course. With this only, your interview preparation, okay, almost 40 to 50% of your interview preparation will be complete in this 10 to 15 days. Trust me, because of this theoretical part where you will learn this transformer architecture, which is the building block of this. And then once we are done with this, we will then gradually move into the LLMs, different types of LLMs, open source, closed source, different from which places like Hugging Face, OpenAI. Okay, in this also we will have the API setup and all this we will do in the initial first class itself, um, where we'll understand how many types of LLMs are there, uh, from where we can go to this LLMs, open source, how we can access. These are all through coding. Okay, all we will do through coding. From here, also all live coding we have to do. Then we will also understand about the LangChain. The framework which we will use is LangChain mostly, which help us to build LLM applications. Okay, this LangChain is a big module. These are the major modules. Okay, LangChain we will understand, which will help us. In the LangChain, you have lots of things. Okay, Then another big module was and we will create application using LangChain. We will have content generation, Q&A, chatbot, language translation, all this type we will understand. Okay. We will also understand different model type. What is the GPT architecture? What is the BERT architecture? What is the T5 model architecture? All these architecture we will understand, because GPT is a decoder only model, while BERT is an encoder only model. We will understand what is decoder, encoder at our sessions. Okay. Then the major module will come up is the called RAG system. So we'll understand what is RAG, how it is different from normal GenAI applications, how we can custom train our data to the LLM model, that we will understand in RAG system. Okay. We will also understand fine tuning of our model. Okay. How we can fine tune the existing base GPT models and use those fine tune model techniques like LoRa and QLoRa. If you have seen the curriculum, I'm sure you have seen these pointers. I'm giving at a very high level. Uh, that we will understand. We will also understand quantization, how we can quantize this LLM model practically and deploy into say any say mobile device, okay, or IoT devices. How we can use quantized model, that we will understand. Once we have done, we also understand guardrail, that is protective AI, like how AI should not is controlled through guardrail, like it did not give some malicious content and stuff like that. And then finally, we will go to agentic AI. We will understand this agentic AI part, which I was discussing, and we will create application, different methodologies, coding through. And on top of this, we will do 4 projects. Okay. It will have one medical chatbot, then ATS system, multi PDF query. Okay. Majorly 4 projects we will do that. Okay. Generating test cases and all. That is the last, that is another project we will do. So that these projects help you people who are totally new, so that you can upload into your GitHub and showcase that you have been associated with GenAI not just for a couple of months, but you are practicing this for a longer period. So that we will do these 4 projects. And apart from that, we will also understand few tools like Langflow, Notebook LM, okay, LangGraph. So which is like this Langflow is like, and these are all UI tools where, and this we will do at the last, so that once you are familiarized with the coding and you have exhausted yourself with lots of coding and you're fully thorough, we will do this UI, drag and drop sort of a thing, Langflow and Notebook LM, where you can just drag and drop, did a quick POC and able to understand which model to be used. So these tools also we will have a flavor of it.